Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my Flosstube channel, Animal Instinct. It's Saturday the 1st of April 2023 and I'm back with another cross-stitching update. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and I hope you're all well and are enjoying your stitching. Thank you very much to my existing subscribers and welcome if you're new. If you do like what I have to share, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when I publish again. At the moment I'm putting videos out about every 2 weeks and that seems to be working pretty well for me. Before I jump into all of my stitching, just wanted to mention the giveaway from last time. I've posted out 4 of the 5 prizes. I'm just waiting to hear back from Danielle Paz, so if you happen to be watching Danielle, please get in touch with me so I know where I can send you the pattern. So just send me an email or get in touch on Instagram. My details are in the description box below. Alright, so I'm going to start today with my first fully finished piece for the year. I mentioned last video, I think, that I was going to a class, a Biscornu class, and that was last weekend. So just before I show what I made, I will mention that Marion mentioned in a comment, thank you Marion, that there is a really good YouTube tutorial put out by the Tiny Modernist on how to finish a Biscornu, and I think she also has a nice picture tutorial on her website as well, and I have used both of those before. The class I went to was using a slightly different technique, so I really enjoyed it. I think it was the first stitching class I've been to since I remember my mum took me and a friend to a learn to cross stitch class. It would have been in the late 80s, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't been to a class since then, so I was keen to give it a go. Christine Bishop was the tutor. She was excellent, very experienced and knowledgeable, very patient and happy to help in any way, answer all the silly questions, etc. There were only 6 of us in the class and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So this is what we made. It's just a simple one. It's got a little bit of cross stitch in the corners, but it was more about putting it together. So it's just small. Has a green button there. And I've just used a little cross at the back to secure it all in. So I was so close to finishing it in the class. I had basically done everything, including stuffed it, and I just had the one last line to stitch together and the button to put in. So I went home that afternoon and made sure I finished it off. But I like that technique, it's very pretty, and I think I'll definitely be using it in the future. And I'm also keen to attend some more classes, so there's one coming up in July that I think looks good. It's using, I think it says metallic threads and embellishments to make a Christmas decoration, so hopefully I can sign up for that and I'll be sure to share what I make. So that's that. So that was a start, finish and fully finish in one day. Doesn't happen very often. So now let's get into whips. It's been a bit of a mixed bag again, I think similar to last time, although I have stitched more than I had last video. But let's just go through them. So first up, when I was filming last time, I still had my March stitching on the Pilgrim to finish. So this is the Pilgrim by Long Dog Samplers, and I'm trying to finish this by the end of July, and I'm kind of up to like here. Got this much to go. I'll pop a photo in of where I was last time. I think I possibly needed another 800 or so stitches to reach my goal. And all my pieces today are freshly crumpled for your viewing pleasure. I don't really iron things until they're finished, so. There we go. So that's where we are. It's on 36 count platinum linen. using Silks for You PR011 for the main colour and PR140 for the words. So I'll come in closer. I can't actually remember what I've done since last video. So I'll tell you what I think I've done. I'm pretty sure I stitched from the crab. I definitely did the waves. I think I finished this little boat. And then this is actually the toes of the frog or toad. Still not sure what that is. I didn't really want to stitch that just yet, so I jumped up and I did the squirrel. And then I'm pretty sure that I still needed some stitches doing, and I have no idea what I did. So I might have come over this side and I might have done something in here, but I don't remember. So I'm trying to do about just over 4,000 stitches a month, and I've got 4 months to go. So now that it's April, I'll put this on the Q-snap and I'll probably work on this weekend. And I'm not sure where to go this month. I'm thinking what I might do is actually come down and stitch the horse and like do this bottom corner here. But we'll see. I'll show you next time, because hopefully I will have actually done it next time. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so next up, so I'm at 71% on the Pilgrim. Next up is my New Year's Eve new start, Sun Camera Motorcycle by Ronald West Art, and it's charted and kitted by Nitka Moscow, and this is the best picture I have of it. Last time I think I was at about, I don't remember, 70 something %. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've put about 4,000 stitches into this one, and this is where it is now. So it's actually all of the cross stitches and the half stitches are finished. I was working on the right hand side and it's all done. There's a heap of back stitch left, but I think it just looks beautiful. And this was, you know how some projects you just love working on, love everything about it? This is what this is for me. But the detail, even without the back stitching, is pretty great. So we've got the lady sitting on the motorbike with the grasses in front, and you've got the mountains behind in the background. She is taking some photos, and that will come into a little bit more focus with the back stitch. And then there's some hills with more vegetation on them. We've got some long skinny trees here, and they are reflected in the lake down here. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So hopefully next time you see it, it might be completely finished. I don't know when that's going to be though, but this year. I want this one to be a finish for this year. I did surprise myself a bit getting so far along on that. Another project that I mentioned at the end of my last video was my Chatelaine, and I hadn't worked on it this year yet. So I pulled it out. I'm doing the Taj Mahal Mandala Chatelaine, and I don't have a great photo of the finished piece. There's only like people's stitched pieces out there, and I'm never really sure if I should just randomly show someone's. Anyway, you get the idea when you see it. So I started it in 2019 and I don't really know why, but I've never really given it enough time, and I've been stuck in the center square and I thought I would never get out of it. I haven't quite finished stitching the center square, but I did decide to just skip ahead a little bit. I need to come back and finish some stitches. But I decided to start building the first Taj Mahal. And this is where I got to. I worked on it for about 4 days and did just shy of 2,500 stitches. And I'm not sure if this is going to how well this is going to show up. So it's on 32 count Belfast linen in black linen. And yeah, how good does it look? So yeah, I've got some specialty stitches in the corners and across here, but I am thrilled. I like the effect that the half stitches give on the sides, and then this sort of pattern is repeated. It comes out here too, and the top of the pieces are like not too far up above where I've got to, so I really enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Look forward to working on it again soon. What else have I got? Oh, so once I touched the Chatelaine, there was only one more project in my sort of pile of focus projects for the year that I hadn't yet touched, and that was Mermaids Folly by Courtney collection. This one. I'll pop a photo in of where I got to at the end of last year, because I haven't worked on it this year at all. And so I had finished the center column of pages. I think there's about 2 1/3 pages sort of deep or high. And then this year I wanted to move across to the right and start on the next column of pages. So this is where the whole thing's at now. What I've done, I put about 1,100 stitches in, so that's the whole thing. So it's on 40 count linen in Murky by Picture This Plus, and I'm using DMC 3371 1/2, and then I'll come in. Hang on a sec, I might come this side. So the page line is roughly here. So what I did was I stitched very carefully, I extended this border to just beyond the page limit, so I know sort of what width I'm dealing with, and I did it really carefully. The first line I went, like I stitched all the way across, and every 10th stitch, so I did half stitches across. Every 10th stitch I crossed, and then I counted to make sure I had counted correctly to 10, and then I do 9 more half stitches and then a full stitch, count again, and I did that all the way across. And then I was happy that I'd counted correctly, so then the others went pretty quick. And then I'm just bringing it down so you can actually see this is her hand, that's her thumb and a couple of fingers. And really enjoyed that. It's nice and easy because it's just one colour, although it's quite hard to see the holes on this fabric. So counting is tricky, and there is a lot of counting involved, but it is a good one to stitch on. I'm going to be stitching on this more in May, and I hope to at least get that page finished, if not more. So yeah, Mermaids Folly. Alright, then I've got one more whip. I felt like working on one of my Halloween pieces that one of my spooky pieces that I started in October last year with Joe from Belushi Stitches, and I just couldn't decide which one to work on, so I asked some friends and they told me. So thank you, friends. They chose The Haunted Library by Lola Cross Stitch. I think I just gave this a few days in October. I don't think I've actually touched it since then. So yeah, pulled it out. I'm working on the staircase, and I'll pop a photo in of where I was. And I think I've done like a measly 250 stitches or something like that. So I finished off this bottom row, and then I'm bringing it across to, I've worked up here. And so from here, it sort of curves around. So that's nice, easy stitching. And I can't tell you to hand what the fabric is. I don't recall. Next time I might be more prepared. Okay, now I had a really impromptu new start. I haven't done much on it, but I'll show you anyway. I decided to start this one. It's by Niky's Creations and it's called Animal Farm. And it's a terrible photo on the pattern. Not too much for it. It's really dark. I can actually see it better through the camera than I can looking at it in person. Anyway. I've had this in my stash for a while. I thought someone gave it to me, but now I'm not really sure. So anyway, mystery pattern that I like. I went into my stash and I was feeling pretty lazy and decided I wanted it to be on 40 count and I didn't want to have to cut fabric. So I've just looked for smaller pieces of 40 count in my stash. And I found this, should take the sticker off of it, but anyway, it's Legacy from Picture This Plus. And I think there's like 300 or 400 stitches done, not much. That is my start. This is the pig down the bottom. Oh, I've put it back in the plastic. This one. It's all stitched in DMC, and yeah, I don't know when I'll get back to it. I'm sure I'll get back to it at some point. That is my start. Okay. And I've had one more new start that's not cross stitch, but it is using needle and thread, so definitely want to share it with you. I was at my local quilt shop sometime since I filmed last. Was it last weekend? I think. Anyway, I've seen the Sashiko, need to figure that out, stitching before, and it's intrigued me, but I've never taken the time to really look at it. And then they had a model stitched up, which is always dangerous because models always look amazing and are very enabling. They had this bag stitched up. So it's not the typical patterns you see on the like the blue or the indigo fabric with the white stitching. This is a little bit of a different technique. And I loved it. So it came partially kitted up. It had the fabric and it's got like all the, like it's got the cord and it's got some clampy things to make a drawstring bag. it didn't come with that piece of hardware for the key fob, but I've got one of those now. So it didn't come with the threads, so I had to buy some thread and had to buy special needles. So the thread itself is like, it's like stitching with string. It's quite thick. And the needles are longer and sturdier than a needle that you'd use for cross stitch. Partly because you have to thread the string through it, and also it's kind of a different technique. Like, you're not using your needle to lay the stitches like you would in cross stitch. You actually use the needle to like load up the needle with the fabric and then you pull it through. It's different, and the lines are painted or printed on there, and they'll come off when they iron it. Like literally you just follow the lines, and it's so easy and relaxing, and I've really enjoyed it. So this, I don't know how best to show it. This is what I've done so far. This part's not finished. I still have to do this variegated thread. I have to come across this way. So first of all, you put, like I did the yellow ones, and you literally, I just followed it all the way down to the end, and then like carried the thread underneath and then came up. And then once I'd done that, then I did the like the horizontal legs, and then I did the same with the green. And with the variegated thread, you're not actually stitching, you're just weaving it underneath the stitches you've previously made. So you have the needle threaded, but you're actually feeding it underneath your stitches with the eye end of the needle, not the pointy end, because you don't want it to pierce anything. You just want to feed it under the stitches you've done. So I think this end is more done. Yeah, so this end is done. And then the bit over here is for this bit here is for the scissor fob or the key fob. And you do the same. So I'm just trying to finish this section first. Yeah, you can see I've got to about here. It's a bit denser here. But yeah, really surprised myself at how much I enjoyed doing that. It's a really good one in front of the TV. There's no pattern to follow. You literally just follow the lines. I think normally you would also have a special thimble that sits here, because I mentioned how you're loading up your needle with fabric and you're pressing the needle, like need to rest it against here so you can push as much fabric on as possible. But I don't need that for this technique. Hoping that I can understand the directions enough to make it into the bag. I definitely had to go and look up some tutorials online to get started. The instructions I don't think are quite for like complete beginners like me. So who knows if I've done it correctly, but I'm happy with how it looks, and that's the main thing. I have already got another Sashiko project lined up once I've finished this one, so I'll be sure to share that too. And yeah, hopefully this will be a finish soon. Okay, nice and quick today, that's good. That's all my stitching for this fortnight. So we're coming into April. I've got the Easter long weekend. Is that next weekend? I think. Sadly, our daylight savings finishes up this weekend, which is a shame. So next couple of weeks I want to get through my Pilgrim stitching. I probably will try and finish off that elephant Biscornu from Tiny Modernist. over the Easter weekend. And other than that, I don't really know. We'll just see what I feel like working on. I am going to have a new start in May. I'm going to start the Red Mermaid. It's an RTO kit. I have shown it before. I'll show it next video. I know there's a few people out there who have it, so please, if you want to join in, please do. Yeah, I think that's everything from me today. Danielle Paz, if you're there, please get in touch. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there, and thank you so much for watching today, and we'll see you in another couple of weeks. Happy stitching. See ya.